Hi, everyone. So I wanted to start with today's lesson over finance. It is a pretty quick lesson. I'll let you know, like, there are some things that STAR is not going to have, but then also some others that STAR will have. So let's just get into it. So we're talking about simple interest, compound interest, and then we're also going to talk about net worth a little bit. So interest, both of these formulas are actually formulas that are on your STAR reference sheet. You don't have to memorize these. The big thing is just knowing what all of the variables mean. Simple interest is the easiest. And compound interest is a little ugly, and it's mainly because of that exponent right there, okay? So when we're looking at simple interest, we're talking about interest pretty much kind of like how a house, you get interest charged to you every year. So let's kind of look at simple interest. So if I'm looking at this one right now, it says Tom has $20 in a savings account. The interest rate is 5% per year, and it is not compounded. That means that it's simple. So that would be the principal times the rate times how much time we're talking about. So let's see, the principal is your beginning balance. So we start with 20. The rate is this percent, but it's turned into a decimal, which would be 500ths. So 500ths. Because you move the decimal twice, and the time would be 3 years. So you're just going to multiply those together. So let's do 20 times 3, that gets us 60. And then times 0.5 or 500ths. So that would be 5, and then 6 times 5 is 30. And there's 2 decimal places there. Oh, it's 0 times 5, so that would be 0. Haha, just kidding. That's why you always check your work. And then there's 2 decimal places, so that would go right there. So the interest rate for this one for 3 years, you'll end up getting $3. Let's see. This next one, it gets a little ugly, okay? It is not compounded, so that's still simple interest, but because of this principal being so big, it kind of is not a fun one to do. So it's going to be 80,000 times the interest rate as a decimal, and then times the time, which would be 2 years. So 80,000 times 2 would be 160,000. So that's done. And then times the 800ths. So 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 8 times 6 is 48. Carry the 4. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 4 is 12. And then I move the decimal twice. Ooh, twice. Hello, give me a decimal. So we have 12,800. Okay, so 12,800 is the interest that they would get if you have an interest rate of 8% and for only 2 years. So 12,800. Next one, not compounded annually. So once again, we're talking about simple interest. So it'd be $50 times the 5%, which is 500ths, times 3 years. 50 times 3 is 150. And then times that 500th. So 25, carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7, and you move the decimal twice. So it would be $7.50 worth of interest, which is not very much. And honestly, the smaller the amount is to begin with, the smaller your principal, the smaller the interest is going to end up being. Now, compounded annually is not something you will ever see in 7th grade on the 7th grade STAR test, and it's because this number right here means that you're going to have to multiply it 25 times because it's an exponent. By that, what I mean is it would be 200 times 1 plus your interest rate, which should be this, 55 thousandths, and then to the 25th power. So you would literally be doing this to the 25th power. So 1 in 55 thousandths times 1 in 55 thousandths times 1 in 55 thousandths times 1 in 55 thousandths. So it's a lot. And in 7th grade, they're never going to test you on this. In 8th grade, you would get a calculator. So you would put in the original investment, which was $200. The length of time was 25 years. And then the interest rate was 5.5. Is that right? That's probably wrong. It is. Okay. And then you would say calculate, and then it will pop out with your interest rate after 25 years. I'm sorry, your interest collected after 25 years. So super different. Compound interest is never on a test, so I don't even really spend that much time on it because it is something that when you get a calculator, you will be using. Net worth. So net worth is something like how much is somebody worth? So like Jeff Bezos is worth billions and billions of dollars because of his successful companies and things like that. Some YouTubers have a very high net worth, and then there's some that have no net worth. So net worth just means that you're going to take the amount of stuff that you own, so the amounts of stuff that you own. So it could be your checking account, savings account, investments, the car, so however much your car is worth right then and that you own, and then house, same thing, the things that you own. Versus the stuff that you owe, your liabilities. So your net worth is literally like your stuff that you own minus the stuff that you owe people. So like on this one right here, you would literally take your assets and you would subtract your liabilities. And hopefully you're kind of seeing something weird here with these numbers. Hopefully you're seeing that actually you're going to be in the negative, because there is less assets than there are liabilities, and that is a huge problem. That means this person owes way too much money. So if you're going to find the net worth, you would literally just subtract. So this is where hopefully you're very good at borrowing, because you're going to be borrowing a lot. So 0, I can't do that. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. And so then that would be a 10 minus 5, which is 5. That would be 9 minus 6, which is 3. And then, I need to borrow again, so that's going to turn into a 1. So 12 minus 7 is 5. 11 minus 4 is 7. So this person's net worth is a negative $75,350. So if this was a question on a test, just by looking at this, you could say, oh, okay, my answer is going to be negative. And usually that'll get rid of 2 answer choices. This is something else that's interesting. So it says if the net worth, so it's giving you the net worth here. If you notice, it's giving you the net worth. So on this one, you could literally just add this up. So $4,200 plus the $120,000 plus the $2,300 plus the $13,900. Did I get them all? 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you added all of those up, let's see, 4,200 plus 120,000 plus 2,300 and plus 13,900, you would end up with 140,400. So that's in assets. Okay. And then if I wanted to do one for liabilities, I can do 68,400 plus 1,700. And when I add that up, I end up with 70,100. Now, these two numbers right here, this is your liabilities and your assets. Now remember, your net worth is the subtraction of those two things. So if I were to subtract this, I end up with, dun, 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 dun. Let me make my little table box. I end up with $70,300. But I have a net worth of $80,000. So really what I need to do is figure out what's the difference between those two, because that's how much should be in my checking account over here. So if I subtract 80,400 minus 70,300, I should end up with $10,100. So that is how much is in my checking account. Right there. Okay. Okay, this will be our last one. It says the financial planner says that his net worth is $9,600. Is she correct? And so literally, you're just going to take this money and all of your assets, you're going to add up. And then you're going to subtract it. You're going to subtract those liabilities. So 2,540 plus 6,000 plus 200 plus 3,200. That would be 11,940 minus 888 minus 1,500. So minus 888 minus 1,500. And we end up with 9,560. So no, she is incorrect. And lastly, Dreambox is now for a grade. So please make sure you're completing 5 for the week because that is your grade. E7Y is just for practice. Please make sure you did your IXL code from last week. And if you need help, please feel free to email me. Thank you so much.